Good morning and welcome to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
Happy Monday. Welcome to another full week of fun and frolic here as we're halfway through the month of May.
Yes, we are.
Wow.
And it is hotter than ever outside.
It sure is. Already 75 degrees here this morning in beautiful Savannah. And it looks like it's going to be a rainy week, too. So
Yes.
Rain is predicted all week long into the weekend, at least so far. So get ready for but I'll take that over what we've seen in places like Texas that had these tornadoes come through once again, some severe weather. And it's still very windy here in Savannah, something that we have not seen sustained winds of this velocity for any length of time in quite a while. So it must be all those electric cars that they're building.
It has to be.
And also the windmills that are generating all that wind.
Yes, well, but it still will be very humid here, so just prepare for that. It's going to be like a steam room outside.
For sure. Meanwhile, let's call it just treason.
I mean, what else could you call it? I mean, watching the videos of what's going on at the border, Bill, like, I don't think I've ever felt like the country was in really big trouble based off of what I'm seeing and how these people that are coming across the border are behaving.
But we are now. And it is getting worse, and you can thank a Democrat, but for the most part, this administration, as far as I'm concerned, every one of them should be in Leavenworth.
I don't disagree with you, Bill, especially since we have Mayorkas basically saying everything is fine here. It is going better than ever.
Oh, in fact, it's down 40% of border crossings, and the border czar says that things are going smoothly, even though they dropped a lot of folks off in front of her house.
Yeah, it's definitely not going that way. But I think we have Mayorkas saying everything is fine.
Yes, sir. Here's Alejandro Mayorkas, the Director of Homeland Security and Idiocy. And but here he is. The fact that he how these people can lie with such a straight face. But if you've ever seen the Hildebeest, you know that they can just all of a sudden they just make up a story.
Well, and here's the thing, Bill. It could be true. The way you look at things through the lens of a Democrat is, number one, I mean, it is true. The border crossings, it's going very well because they've been able to process these people, and they're processing these people at like midnight to like 4 a.m. So that's when you see the big droves of people coming across because they're hoping that people aren't seeing it. So according to them, everything is fine. Everything is fine there. But they are coordinating with the other side of the border, which I can't imagine who would be on the other side of the border coordinating people crossing.
Well, I don't know. El Chapo's sons?
I mean, it has to be the cartel. We're seeing this in Texas, Arizona. We don't see much out of California because they welcome this with open arms.
Glad they've given us the cell phones.
Well, that's the other thing, Bill. Like we're paying for cell phones. We're paying for hotel rooms. Come on in. We'll treat you right. But, American citizens, they're suffering, but it's fine. It's totally fine.
Well, Ted Cruz had some words as well. And to find out that, and we go along with him because who's not at the border? Democrats.
We are witnessing an absolute travesty unfolding on our southern border. On Monday, we apprehended over 10,000 people on the border, the highest level in history. On Tuesday, we apprehended over 10,000 people on the border, again, the highest level in history. There are right now, when we're standing, more than 22,000 people camped just south of the border, getting ready to come across. Just in this location, in less than a month, we've had over 35,000 Venezuelans cross illegally just right here, not counting the whole rest of the border. Every day, just right here, they're encountering 90 to 100 Chinese nationals. Now, for anyone that doesn't have their globe nearby, China is not immediately to the south of the United States. But 90 to 100 a day are crossing illegally on this border, being smuggled in by Mexican drug cartels. And I have to say, I am angry. because this is deliberate. This is a decision that was made by President Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and congressional Democrats to open up the border to what is nothing less than an invasion. Ask yourself, why is President Biden not here? Why is Kamala Harris not here? Why is Elizabeth Warren not here? Why is AOC? She still owns the white pantsuit. Why is she not here with her head buried in her hands? Because they don't give a damn about the dead bodies. 6 weeks ago, I asked Secretary Mayorkas how many migrants died in the past year crossing illegally. He said, I don't know. The number's 853. But he can't be bothered to worry about that. I asked him how many women have been sexually assaulted in the last year by human traffickers. He said, I don't know, because the administration can't be bothered by that. I asked how many children have been physically and sexually assaulted. Again, I don't know. We're witnessing modern-day slavery. And maddeningly, what the Biden administration has decided is they want more. Title 42 is expiring today, and you know what happens tomorrow? Those numbers go up. This is an invasion, and they want the numbers to go up. Let me say to the men and women from the Border Patrol who are heroes. They are extraordinary heroes, and we're down here to tell them thank you, to tell them we love you, to tell them we got your back, even as your political superiors are making it impossible for you to do your job. The Biden administration is really proud now that they have apps on their phone, that when someone crosses illegally, they can fill out an application in 2 minutes. This is the Amazon version of illegal immigration. They're going to make it fast and deliver them anywhere in the country. We've seen 6.5 million people cross illegally since Joe Biden became president, and the administration wants 6.5 million to be 10 million, to be 12 million, to be 15 million, to be 20 million. And the body bags that pile up, they can't be bothered to worry about. I'll tell you, the great state of Texas is on the front lines. The volume is overwhelming. It's got to stop.
Ted Cruz there, and then there's another portion of this clip where he actually goes after a reporter because the reporter comes after him and is asking questions about, you know, the same talking points. You need to let them cross. This is inhumane. They have to come over here. You know, we need to welcome them with open arms. And he kind of went after the reporter and was like, you know, you have no idea what is going on.
Explain inhumane. Please explain inhumane to me. That we're letting all these people in there. They've been put in facilities that are designed for 1,000 people, and there's 6,000 people in there. And yet when they showed some picture when they criticized Donald Trump for his policies, and they showed pictures from the Obama administration and said that was what Trump did, there was all this outrage. So spare me your crocodile tears, okay? This country is being invaded. And you hear the court dates? They've been given the court dates. The earliest one I heard was April of 2027. I saw one that was out to 2033. That's 10 years from now, in case you've been in public school recently and can't do math. Well,
the other problem I see with this bill is that there's reporting coming out of the southern border stating, and we have a clip of this here, that they're signing themselves in.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so let's take a look.
Oh, it's the honor system.
Yeah.
They have the honor and we have the system.
Yep.
This is too ridiculous. We just got back here to Yuma, Arizona. You can tell how much traffic there's going to be in this area. There already is in this area. They've added these massive tents here. It looks like they can hold somewhere between 500 and 1,000 people. And I've never seen this before. This has to be one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. So they've got, they used to have the Homeland Security packets. I guess they ran out of those, so they just have these little plastic slips. But this is incredible. They have a bag of bag tags, Homeland Security bag tags. So, you know, if you show up early, now typically in this area in particular, It's all run by the cartels. All this is run by the cartels, and everyone who's supporting this, Mayorkas, Biden, they're only supporting the cartels. But this area used to be kind of all over the place, used to be during the day and at night. Now it's pretty much between midnight and 4 a.m. That's when the cartel sends the people over. So there's nobody here. But I guess they decided, well, if you show up early, you can do it yourself. I mean, I've never seen that before. That is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. Add it to my list of souvenirs. Thanks, Homeland Security. I mean, honestly, how secure do you feel as an American citizen now? That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen, man. Oh, and they got your snacks. So once you get done filling out your Homeland Security form and just walking on into America, they've got water and snacks for you. Granola bars and water. There you go. It's full service. This is better than you get in an airplane. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Turkish Airlines.
Oh, look, and somebody left this. Turkish Airways. Another souvenir. What could go wrong? Wow.
From Turkish Airways, there are a lot of people that fly Turkish Airways from South America and Central America.
Yeah, well, also, I think the amount of Chinese coming over the border is super concerning. I mean...
And who's paying for all this? Who's paying for that water and the granola bars and all the printing to get those? That's what I thought.
The taxpayer. And here's the other thing. We'll see some other information coming out about hotels and stuff like that, but they're like, the Biden administration is paying for this. No, they are not.
No.
The taxpayer is paying for this. And people
they don't have any money.
They do not make money. They
the government
take money.
Doesn't have any money. Okay? We earn the money. Then the Fed prints it, and they print way too much of it. And then the Biden administration wastes it. Meanwhile, they are throwing out in New York, they are throwing out homeless veterans from hotels to make room for the illegal aliens. The people who fought for this country, who have given part of their bodies in many cases, or at least their minds, and PTSD and all the other mental problems that go along with maybe multiple deployments, are being thrown out of their hotel rooms to make room for illegals. And don't tell me this migrant stuff. And don't tell me that they're coming here for a better life, because they're going to destroy this one. Maybe you ought to go back and look at the, there ought to be a course in college these days on Aesop's fables. And one of them is about the goose that laid the golden egg. It's one to start with right away. This is treason. These people ought to be, I want to start hearing the Republicans grow a backbone for a change and start talking about impeachment, because that's all we heard from the Democrats for 4 years when Donald Trump was in office. This guy needs to be impeached immediately, if not sooner, along with his vice president, and we'll have at least President McCarthy.
That's true, Bill. And we're going to jump right back in when we get back from break on all of this border stuff.
Yeah, and there's more stuff.
Serving the Savannah area with the power of the Shield since 1934, with personal insurance, employee benefits, and business insurance. With integrity, security, and trust. For more information, go to thepoweroftheshield.com.
At Get Real America, we are focused on Savannah, but we'd like to hear from other communities as well. We have a lot in common. Come join us today at Sweet Potato's Kitchen for some of that good Southern home cooking, like fried chicken, fish, and mouth-watering banana pudding say it's the best in the world, and you won't get an argument from me. Also, those vegetables are fresh and delicious. Voted Southside's best restaurant in Savannah at least 5 times, and large corporate parties are welcome. Tell them Bill Edwards sent you. Drop by and eat today. Everybody loves sweet potatoes.
Welcome back to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
And I'm ticked.
You and me both. I don't think I've ever been so nervous for what we're about to experience for the next, 17 months, 18 months until the election.
I'm hoping that we're going to be getting this calls for, there's something in the Constitution that said if we're not happy with our government, we can replace it.
I think that means that a lot of people have to start growing a backbone, and I haven't seen it. I want to know, what can the governors do to prevent this from happening? They have to step up. Republican governors, get it together, figure it out. Let the Biden administration come after you for stopping this border crisis.
Exactly.
Let them. Who cares?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that'll tie things up in the court for some time now. And in the meantime, one of the things that they are really concerned about is whether or not you have a gas stove, and whether or not you have a dishwasher that uses too much water.
Yeah, well, and our friend Lizzie is with us this morning, and she says, shame on KW who voted for this because she didn't like mean tweets. Shame on Margaret who continues to vote for Biden. Send them all to New York City and Chicago. Shame on Jillian who said it won't be that bad. Mm-hmm. It is that bad. It is that. No, it's worse. It is worse. And wait, did you see? Have you seen El Paso? Yeah, it looks like a third world country. You're probably better off, in Swaziland someplace or Chad. It's just amazing. The Democrat Republic of Botswana, wherever it is, it's better than down there. And I feel sorry for the people who are there. The legal, hardworking, honest, tax-paying American citizens who are being destroyed. Well, and this administration could care less. Well, do you want to see what it looks like right now down there? What an invasion actually looks like? Yeah. I think we have some footage of the border. Yeah, let's take a look. Climbing fences. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I sent to my wife. Isaac! God is blessed.
Hernandez here with Real America's Voice. I'm here in Scottsdale, Arizona, where behind me is literally a hotel that has been rented out by the federal government, the Biden administration. If you remember, reports a couple months ago were coming out saying that the Biden administration is investing more than $80 million for hotels, for migrants to be housed in hotels just like this one right behind me. Now, what's interesting about this is Scottsdale, Arizona, of all places, but also the max capacity apparently is 1,200 migrants every 72 hours. Now, another complaint that locals here are having is that there is literally a high school just a few minutes away from here. There's a senior citizen home a few minutes away from here, and there's also apartments everywhere you look.
It seems really unfair to me. There are people living out in the heat, and these people get to be in air-conditioned comfort. They get their meals for free.
The homeless camps and stuff that our own Americans aren't taking care of. Our own Americans aren't taking care of our homeless single parents out on the streets with kids.
I think it's a shame that we don't help our veterans who did so much for us. Especially now that from the Vietnam War drafted to serve. They went. They didn't go to Canada. There are people who volunteered to be in the military, and we should be definitely helping them as much as we can. And the homeless people that do want help, that are down on their luck, we should be able to help them.
So the federal government is absolutely not being transparent with what's taking place here, and the Biden administration has claimed to be transparent, but obviously this entire building is secure, but there's no guarantee that these migrants will not be released out into the community. There's also a lawsuit by a local that is actually a legal immigrant that is in the works, so we will stay on top of this story. But a major concern, and the hypocrisy in all of this, is that we have literally Americans, we have veterans that are living homeless, even in Phoenix, Arizona, just about 30 minutes away from here, that are living on the streets, living in extreme heat, living in extreme poverty, while we have people that are not even Americans that are being housed in hotels bought and paid for by the Biden administration, like the one right behind me, while we have Americans literally living in the streets in poverty as I speak. This is literally the definition of America Last.
And I just want to correct him again. It is
It's
not the
money
government.
of the Biden
It is not the
administration.
government that pays
It's
for this.
our money.
Yes. And in my opinion, this could be controversial. However, I think we should take care of veterans first, always. People that
Exactly.
signed up to give their life for our country, we treat them like garbage. And these people coming in from other countries, we roll out the red carpet, and we're paying for that.
Okay, my military service is not anything to write home about, okay? I have one decoration, the Defense Medal. You get that for showing up, okay? All right, you're welcome, by the way. But I've applied for some veterans benefits just recently. I got a letter from the VA the other day that said my signature wasn't being accepted.
Why is that, Bill?
Beats me. I'm going to see the vet lady and said, why is my signature not being accepted? It's on about, 300 or 400 documents that I signed over a period of 30 years. Why is my signature not being accepted?
Well, and Bill, I mean, so my dad was also in the military. He did one, I think he did 6 years. And he could apply for all of those benefits, but he thinks it's taking advantage. Not only that, the VA, honestly, is not great.
Well, I've decided to start
yeah.
taking it. I thought that too. I thought that at first too. And then I heard about all these people that were signing up, and they said, okay, they're getting now $2,000 or $3,000 a month, and some back pay and other benefits as well. I said, let me get on the gravy train here.
Yes,
And so far, my signature hasn't been accepted.
Yes. Well, and Lizzie Warren just brought up a good point. What they're doing is actually creating more homeless people.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what they're doing. If you saw any of the video footage that we played last week of El Paso, Texas, it looks like a third world country down there. People all over the ground. The great Catholic Church is really helping to push this forward, which I'm super excited about. I don't know what's happened to the Catholic Church, but
yeah,
we stop giving them money.
Purgatory for you guys, if not worse.
Yeah.
But that was better. That clip we just showed was better than Trivago.
Yeah. Yep.
In fact, the next time my next hotel that I'm booking, I'm going to say, I'm an illegal alien, and I'd like my free room and breakfast. Oh, and by the way, I'd like my free lunch and dinner too.
Yeah, Bill. The thing is like this money, they keep printing it. We're already in a high inflationary period. We don't have. There is no budget for this.
No.
There's no budget for this. Number one, I don't think Congress is going to get it together because for some reason the Democrats think that this is a great idea. Number two, I want to know what the heck the governors are going to do. They need to figure it out. DeSantis, Kemp, every Republican governor, get it together.
Yeah. This has to be taken care of, and yesterday. There's no more time for waiting. Now that they're pouring across the border in untold numbers, and coming from thanks to Turkish Airlines, a lot of the folks are coming in here from wherever. So we just saw imagine Turkish Airlines. How many does Turkish Airlines operate in South America, Central America? That's what I thought.
Not real sure.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Maybe but we might have chartered the planes. You and I, we might have taken care of that as well.
It wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me either.
I'm not really sure what they're thinking. I mean, we also had, your favorite JKP, Jean-Pierre, saying last week that things were down. It was down by 90%. Then you have Mayorkas coming out over the weekend saying it's down 50%. These people are lying to you. And sometimes I wonder, are they doing this for the current situation or is this for the history books?
Yeah. But whatever it is, if there is any history.
Yeah.
Because this country's being destroyed and they're doing a damn good job of it and we have to stop it.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. The people that are going to be harmed by this the most are the people that vote for Democrats.
Yeah.
In Chicago over the weekend, I don't know if you saw this, but
guess what?
They're not happy because they have figured out that these migrants coming into their city definitely going to impact their community in a very negative way.
Taking away their special privileges.
Let's take a look at that.
All these resources that have not come to us, now you want to overly compensate for people who never lived here before, and we need to be taken care of first and foremost before anything else happens here.
Why would any leader put our black communities already riddled with crime at further risk by placing unvetted non-taxpayers steps away from our seniors, our children, and our homes we've worked so hard on our own to secure?
We are at war, people. Our communities are at war. They are violating our communities, and we asking that we across the country, and we asking and we're demanding for office of Black America, or whatever you want to call it, to deal with issues like this.
I did get placed on a wait list, but I was told that the immigrants was taking priority. See, that's a story that a lot of people don't know, and it hurt me. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I understand we need to be humanitarian, but these people my participants are third and fourth generation Chicagoans, born, bred, fed, and raised here. My grandmother, Mayrella Carrington, rest in peace, always said, Craig, charity starts at home first, and then it go abroad.
Politically, having over 500 people in our community would completely wipe out any interest we have.
Many of these migrants have been dumped in our neighborhoods without a plan in place to monitor and house them long term.
I'm not selling nothing, and I keep telling people, we don't have to move. If you sell, they gonna come in. If we don't sell, we gotta stand strong and go.
That's right. We just getting started.
Do they understand the correlation between voting and results? You people voted 97% for Biden. 97%. Now that's a real number.
Yes, well, and when you live in a country where only 12% of the population is voting, it's a huge issue, Bill. You're letting 12% of the population decide the future of this country. Get off your butts and vote.
Start teaching civics if we have anything left in our public school system at all.
Yes, and, this is the day of the border, so we'll be right back with more of that.
At Get Real America, we want to make sure that the real story gets out, and you can help us as a sponsor or as an advertiser to make sure that that word does get out to the community.
Be a sponsor and support your local community here at Get Real America.
I don't think it's an accident that I ended up writing music for a living, because I think I lived in a house where I saw how deeply it affected everyone in the house. And just how much everyone defined themselves by the music they listened to.
Music as a framework, I think, gave my parents my identity from a young age. You can like any music that you want if it makes you feel happy. And now when I hear certain songs, I think of them, and I think of them in their happiest state, and it makes me happy.
If they seem like they're having trouble talking about something, I try to tell them about a time when I felt something similar.
Whatever the issue was, we would tell them the pros and cons and how important it was that they had come to us because we could always help them. I think the real important point, we always told them, no matter what you do, no matter what happens, we will help you through it no matter what it is.
Come join us today at Sweet Potatoes Kitchen for some of that good Southern home cooking, like fried chicken, fish, and mouth-watering banana pudding. Say it's the best in the world, and you won't get an argument from me. Also, those vegetables are fresh and delicious. voted Southside's best restaurant in Savannah at least 5 times, and large corporate parties are welcome. Tell them Bill Edwards sent you. Drop by and eat today. Everybody loves sweet potatoes.
Serving the Savannah area with the power of the Shield since 1934, with personal insurance, employee benefits, and business insurance. With integrity, security, and trust. For more information, go to thepoweroftheshield.com.
Welcome back to Get Real America.
And it's a Monday on steroids.
Yes, it is, Bill. And, you know, I think you and I get angrier during the breaks when we're discussing additional things going on. But
yeah, some of the things we actually can't show you.
And it's because they're very vulgar, very, you know, violent. I just showed Bill a video of someone that came across the border and is, you know, messing with one of these independent media people, trying to grab his camera, yelling the F word, and basically saying, I'm an American citizen now. And it's like,
yeah, I'm an American. Pulling out a piece of paper, yeah, I'm an American citizen too. This is what happens, and this is when you don't pay attention to who's running for office, or don't go vote. Yeah. This is exactly what happens, and it's going to happen here if we don't do something about it. Just to give you an idea of, you know, of who has whose respect. I can remember several years ago, Brittany, this may seem, this sounds like the running broad jump, but there was a nun who was raped and murdered in Chicago. And we're talking 20, 30 years ago. The police looked for months to find this person. Couldn't find anybody. Didn't have a suspect. Well, the mafia, which is mostly Catholic, decided that they didn't like the fact that a nun was raped and murdered. And they put out a hit on the people who were responsible. Within 45 minutes, a guy turned himself in. Now, who's got the respect? The police who were investigating this thing for weeks, if not months, or the mafia, or the mob? And so who's got the respect here? Is it the police? No, because they don't have any power. We're taking that away from them. We're cutting their budget. Who has the power? The cartels?
Yep, absolutely. And the cartels do not care about this country. They care about how much money they're making with human trafficking.
And they don't care about you.
They absolutely do not. And I mean, there's been a lot of things that I've seen lately that have been very hard for me to believe. And the black market exists, and organ harvesting. So there's a lot of people disappearing. And, you know, I saw some stuff this weekend that I was, you know, very appalled about. And people don't understand that this stuff is real. This isn't stuff that happens in other countries. This isn't, you know, not ever coming here. It's here, and we need to push back in however we can. You guys need to be lighting up the phones of your elected officials. What are you guys doing? And that doesn't mean just people at the federal level. That means people at the state level. Like, you need to get the governor to start doing something about this.
And it goes back. It actually goes back to Nazi Germany. One of the great quotes of all time. I can't remember. I don't know if it was Pastor Bonhoeffer or whatever. He said, "First they came for the trade unionists, but I wasn't a trade unionist, so I didn't object. Then they came for the managers and the workers, but I wasn't a manager or worker, so I did not object. And they came for the Jews, but I wasn't a Jew, so I didn't object. So then they came for me, and there was no one left to object." Not just putting it out there. If we wait too long and say, well, that's not our problem, it's somewhere else. We used to say that about drugs here in Savannah. When I was in high school, when we talked about drugs, we were talking about aspirin. We were talking about, you know, prescription medicine. We weren't talking about anything illegal. And Savannah was crowned as an all-American city. Great place, still is, most of the time, in most places. But things can happen and change in a hurry. and it's changing in a hurry now. And our leaders, so-called, need to do something about it now. As Brittany said, all these governors, and I'd like to see a Democrat grow a backbone and stand up against his party.
Well, the good news is, Bill, is that it's actually not the border that's the problem. It's this white supremacy. I don't know if you saw that from the president as well as New York this weekend.
Yeah.
Why are we wasting all this time on the border crisis?
Yeah, when we could be fighting white supremacy.
I think that would mean us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This administration is ridiculous. It's laughable at best if it wasn't so devastating.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening to our country, I don't think people realize this will impact every single person's community because they have luxury buses taking these people around the country. Luxury buses. I mean,
we're not talking about school buses.
No, they're the nice, they're white tinted buses. I'm sure they're very lovely inside, and they're air
like
conditioned.
Yeah, like to have one myself.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah, so I could go around the country, and when I stopped for gas, if it wasn't an electric bus, if I stopped for gas or to get it recharged, I just hand them one of those government credit cards.
Yeah, that would be lovely, wouldn't it? Except for guess what? Everyone else is paying for you at that point, and I don't feel good about that.
Oh, okay. Well, I do because if somebody else is paying for it, I don't care.
Oh, see, some of us have to have some sort of morality, or else we're all in trouble. Our friend Lizzie says, "Call Jesse Petrie, call Ben Watson. Someone should do something," is in quotes. Stop expecting someone else to be the activist. It's the time for everyone to step up while we still can.
Mm-hmm.
And she's absolutely right. Like, I think it's very interesting when I talk to people, they're like, well, I'm glad you're doing something. It's like, well, you could do something too.
Yeah.
Come join us.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots to be done. And a lot of it isn't super hard. Like calling your representatives, that's not a difficult thing.
And don't worry about being called a racist because you're going to be called that anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like whatever we do, we just have to be okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but also the words have no meaning now. That's what's really sad, Bill.
Oh, I know.
Because there is racism.
Yeah.
But because they use it so much, it's like it doesn't mean anything.
When you have a transportation secretary that says we have racist roads.
Oh, geez.
And we have racist potholes or whatever it is. The guy who couldn't get potholes fixed in South Bend, Indiana, when he was the mayor. And by the way, he was despised by the black community. And now he's trying to make up for lost time on that one with racist roads, racist bridges. Are you just kidding me? The sun comes up in the east. I guess that's racist.
Everything is. Being on time, all sorts of things.
Yeah. Math is racist. I don't want those people building my airplanes or fixing them. I don't want them building my buildings or those racist bridges or roads if they think math is racist.
Well, and I'm kind of sick of them. Like I said, I don't understand if this is for the history books or if this is for now, because what they're doing doesn't make sense to me, Bill.
What history? Not going to be anybody here to study it in the first place.
Right, but I mean, they're criticizing Governor DeSantis for taking action against this illegal immigration.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we have that clip.
Yeah. So what's the story there?
Immigration system is so broken that you've got governors taking action into their own hands. State governments. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis recently signed a new law that targets his state's undocumented population by making it a felony to shelter, hire, or transport undocumented immigrants. It requires hospitals to ask their patients about their immigration status. What's your reaction to this? Is that even constitutional?
So I will defer to the Department of Justice on the lawfulness of that type of action. But I will say this. It is sad and it is tragic when government officials, people in positions of authority to do the right thing for our country, actually use human beings as pawns to score political points.
Well, there you have it on BSDNC. Yeah, this is awful. What Governor DeSantis is doing. I say hallelujah.
Well, and every state should really be doing something about this. And
exactly.
Again, in Georgia, we would have to call an emergency session, or Kemp would have to do an executive order for this. So I think we're all at risk. I think every town's a border town. Every state's a border state at this point in time because of how they're transporting these people. I saw a video of Brownsville, Texas, showing a a bunch of people that were getting on planes that had not been processed yet. Lines and lines of Haitians. And Bill, these people are not vetted, and they're coming into our country, and who knows what the outcome's going to be.
And sending them out, just broadcasting them anywhere.
Well, and they're not even really hiding it anymore. Like, there's so much footage out there about what they're doing, and they're just like, everything is fine. It's down 50%. Like, you guys have nothing to worry about. Trust us. We're the government.
Yeah. And these people are, these are just good, God-fearing citizens, or soon-to-be citizens, or we've just made them citizens. And, there's nothing to worry about. Give them a job.
Yeah, and while all this border stuff is going on, sometimes I wonder, Bill, do they do things to divert attention from other things that they're doing?
Oh, yeah.
So the other thing that I thought was interesting that came out over the weekend was Comer. He said that they're having a hard time locating all of the whistleblowers against Biden. So where did they go? Some of them are in jail, and the rest of them they can't find. So Comer was on with Maria Bartiromo.
Yeah, and by the way, on his press conference the other day, who wasn't there? Who didn't cover this 1 second of him talking about all the money that's being flown, being funneled to the Biden family and the Biden crime syndicate? The 9 or 10 people, 12 people from the Biden that were getting $30 million.
Yeah, it's amazing how they didn't show up for that.
And so NBC wasn't there, the National Barak Channel. ABC, the Arab Broadcast Company, wasn't there. The Communist Broadcast System, CBS, wasn't there, and didn't put 1 second of that on the air.
They sure didn't.
But we got President Biden talking to the racist being graduating from Howard University, saying that white supremacy was the big problem.
It sure is, Bill. Well, and like I said, I think that this is. Some of this, I think, they're just creating as much chaos as they can because we can't follow everything. So there's a lot of stuff going on that I think that isn't even being covered because the crisis at the border is so big.
It's Cloward and Piven, the professors at Columbia University from the 1960s that started all this socialism crap, among other things. And that their theory, you overload the system.
And
you have so much stuff going on. You can't pay attention. It's whack-a-mole. You hit it over here, and something else comes up over there.
Yeah,
and it's working perfectly.
It sure is. Well, and I think we have Comer talking a little bit about why they can't find whistleblowers.
Yeah.
Are there whistleblowers or informants missing right now?
Well, with what we've investigated and the people that we've tracked down, going back to the CEFC, the two main players in that business, as well as all the Americans that were involved in the different Biden influence peddling schemes, as well as the Serbian national, the 9 of the 10 people that we've identified that have very good knowledge with respect to the Bidens, they're one of 3 things. Maria, they're either currently in court, they're currently in jail, or they're currently missing. So it's of the utmost importance that the FBI work with us to be able to try to identify what research they've done, what investigations they've done, because we have people that want to come forward, but honestly, Maria, they fear for their lives. Not only are the Biden lawyers and the Biden White House intimidating them, the media is trying to intimidate and discredit them. And I think if you look at the Rasmussen poll, 7 in 10 Americans are very concerned that Joe Biden's involved in a public corruption scheme, and they want to know more information. 7 in 10 Americans strongly support the work that our House Oversight Committee is doing, investigating the Biden influence peddling. And we just need to get some cooperation from these different deep state bureaucracies that are standing in our way.
This is absolutely extraordinary, and it is stunning that some people are missing, that you need to prove this. Who in the White House is intimidating these people? Do you know?
I do know. We're saving that for a later time. But I can tell you one thing that a lot of people don't know. When I issue a subpoena to a bank or to an individual, the second I issue that, Jamie Raskins gets that. And when we get information in from the bank or from any individual, they make 2 copies, one for the majority, which are the Republicans, one for the minority, which are the Democrats. And my biggest problem with the Democrats on the House Oversight Committee is they're acting as a criminal defense attorney for the Biden family.
Unbelievable.
And if you go back, for those of you who will study history or go back and look at some of the video, when the Watergate hearings happened, Republicans were all in. You didn't see them circling the wagons around Richard Nixon. I wish they had, but you didn't.
Bill, where we're at in this country, I am shocked. I'm appalled. And
Raskin, please.
Yeah. Well,
the north end of a southbound horse.
Quit electing these people.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I have. Quit electing them.
If there's a D by their name, don't vote for them.
Correct.
Okay?
Well, we have to take a break, but we'll be right back.
Yeah.
Who is a kid? Well, that's a kid. And another. Look, a gaggle of them. Or is it a herd? Litter? Pride. But what about her? Tell her she's not a kid. Or him. So how do we tell who is a kid? Height? Age, maybe. But some of us have to grow up faster than others. A kid. A kid. A kid wants to make the world better. And one day, he just might. Is a kid fearless? Vulnerable? Strong? Nervous? Yes. 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 Kiwanis is 600,000 kids at heart doing all the little and big things it takes to help children around the world. Because kids need Kiwanis. All of them.
Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a ride. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah.
When you're looking to buy a business or sell a business, the experts at Best Business Brokers have you covered. Whether you're ready to cash in on your years of hard work or you're taking that first step in buying a business of your own, they're here to guide you through the process and make sure you get the best outcome possible. By having Best Business Brokers assist you when you buy a business or sell a business, they handle the legwork of the intricate process. This ensures a smooth transition of ownership, allowing you to get to work immediately or receive payment for your business as soon as possible. With base operations in Savannah and Charleston, they service all of Georgia and South Carolina. If you're considering starting a business here, the mild winters and 5-tiered economic areas make these the perfect places to do so. If you're ready to buy a business or sell a business, then you're ready to contact Best Business Brokers. Visit their website at b3brokers.com or call at 912-349-0940.
Serving the Savannah area with the power of the Shield since 1934, with personal insurance, employee benefits, and business insurance, with integrity, security, and trust. For more information, go to thepoweroftheshield.com.
Come join us today at Sweet Potatoes Kitchen for some of that good Southern home cooking, like fried chicken, fish, and mouth-watering banana pudding. Say it's the best in the world, and you won't get an argument from me. Also, those vegetables are fresh and delicious. Voted Southside's best restaurant in Savannah at least 5 times, and large corporate parties are welcome. Tell them Bill Edwards sent you. Drop by and eat today. Everybody loves sweet potatoes.
Welcome back to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
And still ticked. Industrial strength.
And it just keeps going.
Yeah,
Let's just layer it on this morning.
the hits just keep on coming. How far has it deteriorated here in Savannah?
Well, Bill, there was a protest yesterday. Yesterday was Mother's Day, so what a better day to have a drag family-friendly brunch. You know.
So Club One decided they were going to have one.
Yep, with the assistance of Moon River.
River Brewing Company. Shame
Yeah.
on you. Shame on you.
So I think we have some video of just some of the kids coming out of this Moon River event.
Yeah, let's see.
So do you see this little kid right here?
Yeah.
Walking. They just came out of the drag show brunch. And then you will also see like a lot of the drag queens out here in front. They're taking photos, which is fine. Like, okay, you guys are all adults. Totally fine. I'm not a big fan. But you can see these little kids. Like, I cannot believe.
And they're waving.
Yep, with their
camera.
rainbow fans. So
I would like to, and for the people who are sending us this video, you know, that's fine. I want to see you start learning things called horizontal video.
So for social media, that doesn't exist, Bill.
I guess not.
Yeah, so when you put stuff on social media, it's all vertical now. So that's the hard part about video. But they also asked...
That's reason to hate social media.
Yeah, well, I am not a fan myself. But they also asked a group full, or a tour bus full of tourists if they would take their kids to a drag brunch.
Yeah, let's see what they said.
Wrong video. Switch it. $22. I guess we do not have that video queued up. Sorry about that, guys.
That's all right.
But
So, but they were not fans.
no, they were not. And most of the people they asked on the street, I did not pull those videos because they said F no. It wasn't just a no, it was a F no.
Yeah.
A lot of people are not on board with what's going on. And the thing is, Bill, we should care about everyone's children, but taking kind of the other perspective of this, when you look at what the left's doing, when you, in 15 years, we're going to be a Christian country again because they are allowing their kids to be over-sexualized. They are allowing them to be mutilated and put on cross-sex hormones, which there's been an argument here in Georgia. They are damaging. I don't care what anyone says.
Exactly.
And the other thing is they're aborting their babies. So when you have one side of the aisle doing all of that, I mean, they're really themselves in extinction.
There you go.
So, I mean...
It was like, you know, the Chinese, they're supposed to be, we always talk about how smart the Asians are supposed to be. So why do the Chinese have to spy on our and get all of our tech secrets is one of the things I wanted to know. But for a while, you know, over in China, they were saying you just wanted to have boy babies.
Yeah.
You couldn't have girls. They take the girls away from you or whatever and put them into whatever, or maybe...
Look how that's worked out.
Yeah. And then finally it dawned on some genius, wait a minute. If we don't have girl babies, we're not going to have any more boy babies.
So wait a minute. I just heard a case for two genders as well in there.
Yeah.
So there are two genders, and if you don't have two genders, you can't have more babies?
And I'm sorry if you're threatened by that. Just like the kid up in Massachusetts. I want him in Congress. I want him to take Elizabeth Warren's place.
Wouldn't that be lovely?
Yeah, the 12-year-old who went before his committee, who wore the T-shirt that said there are only two genders, and they said some people felt threatened, and he was suspended from school.
I believe it was probably the teachers that were threatened, not any of the children. But just my 2 cents on that. Because he also mentioned that they had plenty of posters of BLM and LGBTQ and all that in the school, and he wears a shirt and everyone's
freaked out.
Yeah. But what are we doing to our country?
I have a feeling that most of the people weren't freaked out. A lot of the kids were probably saying, yeah, good for you. In fact, he said so.
He did say that.
But they were too afraid. They were too terrified to come forward.
Yeah, and I will say, like, going to a protest like the one that happened yesterday, it's really hard for people. It's hard to put your face out there. It's hard to stand up against these people, especially because they are considered a minority. So they have more rights than any of us do. And
doing it on Mother's Day.
Yeah. Well,
of all times.
And here's the thing, Bill. No problem with them doing their own drag shows. That's fine for adults.
Go right ahead.
Adults. Children should not be allowed into these facilities. We don't allow them to go to strip clubs. It's the same thing.
Don't allow them to buy liquor.
No, we do not. They're not allowed to get tattoos. I mean, our job as adults is to protect children. And, we'll get into this tomorrow, but also the stuff that's in our schools is disgusting. We had a school board meeting last week, and like I said, we'll jump into that tomorrow, but Beth Maggioroni and Cheryl Gay, who are the co-leaders of No Left Turn in Education, the fact that they read these books or read excerpts out of these books, I applaud them because I couldn't do it. Going to a school board meeting, I could not bring myself to read the words.
And what's pathetic is that when we say when you said these books ought not to be here, you're saying, oh, you're banning books. No, we're not banning books. Or they make an analogy that the same kind of stuff's in the Bible. So what difference is it? Well, the same kind of stuff in the Bible was actually punished. Sodom and Gomorrah. You might remember that. In fact, that's where we get the word sodomy. And also, the Song of Solomon is a love story. It isn't porn. There is a difference. And for these people to actually make that analogy, a pox on both your houses. And Satan has a special place, really hot place for you one of these days.
Yeah, Bill, we're going to jump on that tomorrow.
What you do to the least of these, I believe our leader said.
Yes, and like I said, these people that are going to the school board reading this out loud, unfortunately, parents, they work full time. So I think a lot of them don't really realize the reality of what's in the schools and what their kids have access to. So I think that we need to find a better way to get in contact with parents. So if you guys have any ideas for us, please reach out, because this is definitely a personal passion of mine, is protecting children. And us as adults, we are the protectors of children. So if we do nothing, we're helping to destroy the next generation.
And don't get the attitude, by the way, that because I don't have kids, or I don't have kids in the school system, that I don't have a dog in this fight. Yeah, you do.
And the reason is you're a taxpayer, number one, so we're not getting a return on our investment.
You're paying for it whether you got kids there or not.
Our businesses, we hire them. If they're not prepared to go into a workforce, that's a huge problem for all of us that own businesses. There's a million reasons why you do have a dog in this fight. So I'm hoping that everyone gets involved. And if you have ideas on how we can reach parents, please let us know.
Yeah.
And that's going to do it for the Monday show.
Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow for more of fun and frolic.
Yes.
And whatever else the Biden crime administration and crime syndicate's doing.
Yep. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a good day.
See you then.